Hey guys, so I'm here from Bill No Code Hustle, and today I have something super special for you. So, if you're ready to escape a 9 to 5 job and dive into the world of side hustle, you are in the right place. Because in today's video, we are just not going to explore bubble.io, but I'm also thrilled to present you with our exclusive course, bubble.io Mastery, which is absolutely free for a limited period of time. So, stick around and find out how you can grab this offer and kickstart your journey of side hustle with bubble.io. So let's get started. So let's unpack what exactly is Bubble. Well, Bubble is a visual programming platform that lets you build full stack, fully functional web application, and there is no coding required. So in simple terms, Bubble is a no-code app development platform that lets you design, develop, host, and scale application without writing any code. The only time you're gonna need to write a code is if you're integrating your application with a third-party application, that is API. And I mean, it has a simple drag and drop action, so you just have to drag the element that you want in your application and drop it on the canvas itself. And you need to set few logics in your application in order to make your application work. So I really feel like Bubble can be a gateway for turning those brilliant ideas into a real functioning web or a mobile application. So you might be thinking, what can I actually create with Bubble? Well, sky's the limit. You can create all kind of web application. You can create a CRM application if you own a business. If you want to track your leads, your customer, your products on one platform, you can create your own CRM. If you are a freelancer, you can create your own project management tool as well. Or if you own a small team, you can do that as well. If if you want to sell few stuff, you can create your own e-commerce store as well. If you are a content creator, you can create your own LMS system as well. You can design it as per of your needs, and instead of going out and paying money on some other platform. And we all know, I mean, they also have some transaction fee, their cut-off prices as well. So instead of that, you can like create your own LMS system as well. I mean, there is no limit in here. As well as AI is blooming right now, so you can integrate OpenAI's API in your Bubble application as well. And you can keep your app up to date with the current you know this AI craze that's going on. As well as you can create hotel, I mean, there is no limit. Okay, now I have made few live examples. As you can see, now this is a project management application. So I'm able to track my projects, my tasks, my team members, my dashboard. I can add new project as well. If I want to check the details about this particular project, if I want to track the task and everything, I just have to click on it, and it's going to direct me to the project's detail page, wherein I can see the progress, see the task, like who's the owner of this task, what's the status. I can see the notes and so on. As well as, I mean, I also went ahead and created a property listing application. So as you can see, I mean, you can create all this on your own. It's just drag and drop, that simple. And if I click on this particular popular searches, it's going to direct me to those four listings. Also, if you notice, I'm not logged in right now. So if I try to contact the agent, it's going to show me a pop-up to sign in. So this is where the logic jumps in. So in order to make your application work, you need to set few logics, and that's pretty easy. Even that's like drag and drop. I mean, it's you do not need to code anything. Now, the another example that we can use is an e-commerce platform. As you can see, so I have list of all this jackets over here. I can filter them based on the size. I can clear it. I mean, there is no limit for Bubble, to be honest, like in my opinion. So if you have a dream app in your mind, you can just build it on Bubble without needing a developer, to be honest. So how does Bubble actually work under the hood? So let me break it down for you. So Bubble's framework is based on four main elements: design, workflow, database, and style. Now, Now I'm logged into my Bubble account over here, and right now we are on our first element, that is design. So this is going to be our canvas. Okay, this is where we are going to drag and drop our elements. So as you can see on my left hand side, we have elements. All right. So it basically, this is where your application comes to life. So as I had mentioned earlier, Bubble offers a drag and drop editor that allows you to place and arrange various UI components like button, text fields, images, and more. I mean, you can define the layout, adjust the size, customize the aesthetics to match your brand or vision. It's like crafting the visual blueprint of your app without needing any graphic design skills. Now moving on to second element, that is workflow. Now, workflow is the backbone of your application's functionality. So it allows you to define the logic and behavior of your app. So here you can create different events, action that responds to the user interactions or the internal processes, whether it's sending an email, updating records, navigating between pages, signing up a user, logging out a user, and many more. So workflow lets you visually piece together sequences that make your app dynamic and interactive. Now, moving on to the third element, that's data, or you can say database. So this is where your app's data is stored and managed. So it allows you to create, different data types. It's like similar to tables in traditional database, right? With fields, you can store various kinds of data like text, numbers, y- you know, numeric range, date interval, yes or no, file or image. Moving on, we can also create privacy rules for our applications. On top of that, we can also create different option sets. Now, I'm not going to go in depth about what option set is, but in short, this is where you can store your static values. So as you can see, I have your two option sets over here. So block category, I know I'm not going to change them. These are going to be static values. So that's why I use option set. Similarly, for the blog status, it's going to be in draft and published. No one is going to change it. I don't want this to be dynamic. I want this to be static. So that's where I can leverage option sets over here. Now moving on to the fourth element, that is styles. Now styles in Bubble helps you to maintain a consistent look and feel throughout your application. And this is where you define, your style presets for your UI components like button, for input box, for drop downs, for map fields, for floating groups, for groups, for icons, for images. Like, this is where you work on the UI of your elements. So this it's a actually a great way to ensure your brand consistency and improves your design process as well as efficiency, and it makes the overall app aesthetic, and it changes quickly and effectively. Instead of like manually doing it on the canvas, you can do it over here, and then it gets directly reflected on your editor. Moving on to the pros of using bubble.io. Now, the biggest one that I think is you can launch your application within days and not even months. So, if you compare Bubble with traditional app development, that is through coding, hiring a development team, it usually takes somewhere around 6 months to like 1 year, right, to deploy your app. But with a tool like Bubble, you can accelerate your app development speed. You can transform your app idea into a live app within like a week of time. So it eliminates the waiting game, and it propels you from concept to launch in days and not even months. So it's like saying goodbye to lengthy development cycles. The second pro is you can say 1,000 of your dollars in the development. So instead of going to a firm or hiring a developer, that's gonna cost you more than 5K. And if you go to an agency, the calls and everything, it still takes time. You need to make them understand your app, how you want to function, and I mean there is a lot of confusion. So instead of that, you can actually do it yourself. So I mean you can save your development fees. You just need to have a proper guidance for that, and I think you're good to go. I mean, you can be your creator, developer, designer all in one. And as I mentioned, it's a drag and drop interface, right? So you just need to drag and drop your elements. You just need to picture out how your app should look. So for that, you can use Figma. You can use inspiration from Dribble as well, to see how the look and how your app should look to your end user. You can use that. You can create a wireframe on Figma, and then you can create your application in Bubble as well. And the third pro that I think is, you can build your apps faster, or like 5 to 10 times faster. So as I mentioned, using Bubble, leveraging Bubble, you can accelerate your app development. And you can build, iterate, and deploy at a lightning speed. So it helps you with keeping up with the pace of your idea and with the market demands as well. On top of that, Bubble also provides hosting and maintenance, so that's taken care of. So you can focus on the business and not even the tech stuff, because after all, it's a no-code tool. While Bubble is a powerful no-code tool, but it still has its drawbacks. So the first one and the major one is it has a steep learning curve. Now trust me, I have been in your position. I mean, I started my Bubble journey 6 years back, and at that time, there wasn't any YouTube tutorial videos. There weren't any courses about how to develop your app on Bubble. So I had to rely on two of the resources. So the first one was the documentation that they have on their official website, and the second one was Bubble forum. Now the Bubble community is really great. They're gonna come to help you out, but it's a 50-50 chance. I mean, your query might or might not be answered. So it totally depends. But don't worry, because as I mentioned in the video earlier, that I'm offering uh, my own course that is free for the first 50 sign up. So all you have to do is just head over to Build No Code Hustle, and as you can see over here on the screen, I have this whole course catalog. You can explore it. There are a few courses that are coming soon. On top of that, I have also added a new feature wherein if you want me to build a particular app for you, you can just request me, and I'm gonna add it in my course map, and I'll try to make that course for you guys. Anyway, coming back to the free course, so this is the one Bubble Mastery course. So in this course, I'm gonna cover everything from basics to advanced. And I mean, I had designed it to smooth out like the bumps that I had when I started my no code journey, so that you are like ready to tackle your dream project with confidence. And as I mentioned, the best part, I'm offering this course absolutely free for the first 50 sign up. So it's my way of ensuring that you get the best start on your Bubble journey. But I would suggest to hurry up and get the spots, because they won't last long. But I still got you covered. In case you miss out this first 50 free spots, you can use the coupon code that I'm going to mention in the description. You can use it at checkout to receive a whooping 70% off on the course price. And as I mentioned, in this course, you're going to unlock the whole like full potential of Bubble. Like I'm going to provide you step to step guidance to from that turns your steep learning curve into a smooth, enjoyable ride. So this is what we are going to build actually in Bubble. In this particular course, we are going to build a CMS. For those who don't know what CMS is a content management system. So in this example, we're going to design a blog. So we're going to design the whole sign up login. We're going to cover the workflow. We're going to cover the database. We're going to create a single page dashboard as well for our bloggers, wherein they can see their live post or blogs, as well as they can edit, add a new blog. They can delete their uh, blogs as well. On top of that, we are also going to make a fully responsive landing page wherein our end users can go through the blogs as well. As you can see on the screen, this is going to be the end product of our Bubble application. So this is what you're going to be able to create after you know learning Bubble mastery course. So don't waste your time and just get your free spots. Now, moving on to the second drawback of Bubble is it's not suited for complex apps. And by complex, I mean if you are planning to build a really like complex enterprise app, I would suggest not to opt for Bubble. There are other software as well. You can check out Zoho Creator. It's a low code tool as well. You can check that out too. Also, if you're planning to build a AR or VR or a video game in Bubble, trust me, Bubble is not the right fit for you. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, what type of apps you can create in Bubble, those are all clear, good to go. But don't stick with Bubble if you're planning to make a video game kind of stuff. And the third drawback is the scalability issue, right? Now, I mean, if your app starts to generate a large amount of traffic, and if your app gains tons of user, Bubble may struggle to keep up the performance, however, there are solutions. So the first, you can either upgrade your application for a more robust Bubble server infrastructure, so you can go through this, so you can increase your workload units. They offer paid plans as well, with expanded bandwidth, storage, and processing power. So this is one solution. Additionally, if parts of your application become like true bottlenecks, Bubble allow you to integrate custom code models as well. So you can add your JavaScript or Python code in it to optimize your app's performance. uh, but as I mentioned, with right planning and phased approach, Bubble can really take you incredibly far, from initial prototyping to a successful company with millions of users. So I would suggest, don't let this potential scaling limitation scare you away from leveraging Bubble's immense no code power to fastly build your product and launch it. Now we are going to discuss steps in order to get your startup off the ground with Bubble.io. So there are total 9 steps. Out of these 9 steps, as you can see, 3 steps are marked different, and the reason why I have marked them different is because these are crucial in order to, you know, getting up your startup off the ground. So you need to really focus on these 3 steps. That is step one, step two, and step six. That is market and grow your user base. Out of these 9 steps, the fourth step, that is build and launch your MVP, that's on me. I'm gonna cover that whole step. Okay, so you just need to focus on the rest 8 steps. So without wasting any time, let's get into this. So the first step, that is identifying your niche. Now, in this particular step, you need to determine the sector that you're passionate about. Once you find your niche, identify a specific problem in that particular niche or market, and based on that, think about how you can solve that problem. Come up with a solution. Once you come up with a solution, you need to conduct a research in order to confirm that if there is any demand for your proposed solution. Also, I read this quote somewhere, that fall in love with the problem and not the solution. So instead of becoming attached to a specific idea or a solution, try to focus on understanding the problem on a deep level. Now, coming to the second step, that is conducting a thorough market research. Again, this is also an important step. So, in this step, what you had to do, you had to study your competitors. You had to analyze your competitors and understand their strengths, their weakness, and the marketing position. On top of that, you also need to know your audience. So, identify your target audience, understand their needs, their preference, and their pain points. And based on this, come up with a solution. Okay, and once you come up with a solution, you need to you know think in a different way, that why your customers or your end user are going to prefer your solution over competitors. So you need to have something unique about your solution. The third step, that is defining business model. Now here you need to start come up with some strategy in order to how you're going to generate your revenue. So there are different revenue strategies. There are subscription models, there are in-app purchases. So you can do some study on that, and based on that, you can come up with a business model for your startup or for your SaaS application. Also, be aware of your cost structure, because including your Bubble subscription as well as keep some revenue or savings for the marketing stuff, because you're going to need it. Okay, I'm going to discuss in the sixth step. The fourth step, that is build and launch MVP. Now, as you know, you can leverage Bubble over here in order to quickly develop your MVP and deploy it. And as you know, it's a no code tool, so you can easily come up and design your app and develop it in like 2 to 3 weeks. Once you have your database structured, and the UI of the app is everything done. Once that done, I think you can do it in 3 to 4 weeks, and it's pretty simple. And once you release your MVP, uh, I would suggest release it to a selected audience. Try to gather feedback from them, and based on that feedback, refine your product accordingly. Now, coming to the fifth step, that is bootstrap and reinvest. Now, I would suggest you, if you have your personal savings or early revenue to finance your startup, I mean, you can utilize your personal funding over here. Try to keep control over your business. On top of that, keep your operational cost low and focus only on the essential spending. Okay, and avoid any, if there are any unnecessary expenses, just avoid it. Coming to the sixth step, that is market and grow. Again, really important step. And the reason this is important, because I have seen so many good startups, so many good SaaS applications, wherein they were not able to reach their end customer or end users or customers. And the reason was they were not able to market their idea to their end users. And the reason was they didn't do any marketing. So you need to focus on the marketing of your application or for your startup, because your end user should be aware that okay, there is this app available in market that's gonna reduce my work. So try to, you can hire a marketing agency, or you can do it on your own if you want. You can make use of social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn. Try to use them at your advantage, and do some digital marketing. On top of that, you need to focus on the SEO of your website too, so work on that as well. The seventh step, that is collecting feedback and refining. Now, as I told you, once you are using a no code tool, you are able to deploy it fast. On top of that, once you deploy it, you can get the feedback from your end users, right? Once you get the feedback, try to refine your product. Try to understand what your customers uh, expect from the application, right? So regularly gather and analyze user feedback. Try to understand the needs and experience as well, and try to improve your app, add new features, or you can adjust your strategy according to the request. Coming to the eighth step, that is scale and plan for migration. So as your app gains popularity, you need to explore new markets and audience in order to increase your user base. Now, as I mentioned, one of the drawback of bubble is scaling. So I mean, that's the power of no code. You can deploy your app in a short period of time. You can save up money through, I mean, if your business model is really good, there are in-app purchases or subscription model. Of course, you're saving up from the in-app purchases. Save up some money, and once you save that up, you can migrate it, your whole application to another system, and you can move from no code to code. And I mean, it's really important. So once you cross that, you need to start planning the transition, like from your bubble app to a traditional coded app. So allocate some budget for hiring developers or an external development team. The ninth step, that is migrate to traditional code. So over here, ensure that your app's revenue can support this transition, including the development cost, testing, and deployment. On top of that, build a traditional coded version of your app, ensuring that it's scalable, robust, and ready to handle if there is an increased traffic and functionality. On top of that, as I mentioned, like, plan a phased migration to a new platform, so that there is minimal disruption for your end users as well, like also maintaining the data integrity as well. Hey guys, I hope you found this content really useful. So before you head out, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more amazing content, and let me know if you have any questions about the Bubble Mastery course in the comment. I'll get back to you. Also, I'm gonna mention the website, as well as the coupon code. If you miss out the free signups, you can use the code at the checkout, and you can get the 70% discount straight up. So until next time, happy no coding.